Hello and welcome to another segment of Couples Drive, where married couples share their stories from when they met, courted, got married and beyond. I'm your host, Atuboyan. Now, many of us will balk at the idea of going out with somebody based on recommendation from a friend, family member, or even a well-wisher. But what if that recommendation is coming from your own friend, who likes you so much and respects you so much and thinks you could become a great brother-in-law and therefore recommends you to his sister? Well, let's find out from my next guest on Couples Drive today, Yaw and Patience. Take a look. Hello.
Hi.
Oh boy. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Very good. Thank you guys for making time to ride with me. As you already know, this is Couples Drive, and we hitch ride with married couple, get to know them, their story, where it all started, who made the first move. Why are you looking at him? Did you make the first move, Patience?
No, I did not make the first
Okay,
move.
all right. Well, we're going to find out now. I like the way you looked at him. I was like, well, what is he going to say? All right, so welcome once again.
Thank you.
How you guys have been married for
2 years.
2 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It came by so quick.
Right. And how many babies?
2.
Two.
Jeez.
2, so 1 for 1?
1 for 1.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Very busy.
Yeah, it's not playing.
I mean, I figure get it over with.
I know, right?
True.
Grow with them.
All right, so how has the first 2 years of marriage been like for you guys?
Ladies
How did you
first.
go? Oh, really?
Nah, go for it.
Well, okay. I'll say it's been ups and downs. I'm not going to say that it's always smooth sailing, but at the end of the day, it's what it is. If you know your spouse, you know, then you can work with things. So far, so good. Okay. We always try to find the pays that work for us.
What do you mean pays that work for you?
Like, let's say when it comes to the kids, in terms of the kids. Because
Right.
right now that we have 2 kids, currently I'm not working, I'm home.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that I'm not working, I know that he has to, get up and go to work in the morning early. So for the most part, I just take care of the kids. And then when he comes back, then he gives me a little, some
Right.
time out.
Oh,
Then I
okay.
can go out there and then come back.
How
But
did
so
you
far, so
guys
good.
decide that Patience should stay home? Was it a difficult one, or was it just something that you figured that's the best way to go?
I wouldn't say it was difficult, but it was the logical one. It made sense.
Okay.
For the simple fact that we already had our son, and then came along our second blessing. So it was like, okay, she was already home with our son. So I think, hey, let's just buckle down. It's going to be a little tight in the beginning, but just like anything in life, once you put your mind into it,
Right.
it becomes easier. So for me, it was like, hey, let's go get it.
So, Patience, how has the transition of being a single person into motherhood been for you over the few years you've been married with 2 children?
Initially, it was very difficult because I found myself thinking, "Oh my God, what do I have to make? What do I have to make for this man to eat?" Because when you get married, first you want to be the perfect wife in a way, and you want to be able to say for your husband to appreciate you and say, "Oh, good wife." You want him to come back home. Oh,
Is
the
he
meal
all
is ready."
picky?
No. He'll eat anything I make. And sometimes he'll even tell me, "You don't have to cook. You don't have to make anything.
I see.
As a matter of fact, I'll make something. You go lay down." And that helps me.
Oh, come
I'm
on.
not gonna lie. Thanks, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, holding it down for the brothers.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, and I love that about him, But initially I found myself struggling. Like, I'll be driving back from work and I'm like, oh my God, what do I have to make? Is he okay? You know, but then later on, I realized that he wasn't picky. You know, he will eat anything. And whenever he gets home, he will make one of his quick, you know, his specialty, a PCA, you know?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we will eat it. And so I'm like, you know, patient, I just need to calm down. I just need to relax because the man that I'm with, you know, is not picky in whatever I make. You know, he will, you know, enjoy whatever meal that I make for him. So I said it, you know, it's only then I'm calming down myself. And when the kids came, it's even tougher because not just one, it's two. You know, where I have to make sure that, you know, if one is sleeping, and I have to make sure the other one is not, you know, making that much noise to wake up the one that I just put to sleep. You know, yeah, it's tough, but I find myself trying to make everything work, you know.
How was the feeling like when you first realized you were going to have a baby? Did it scare you?
No.
No? Were you looking forward to it?
As a matter of the baby even came, we had the baby while I was it 2 months pregnant during the wedding? Because we had our engagement.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we had an engagement on January. And I told the pastor, please bless this thing, because who knows?
Oh, so you did everything already?
Yes. So the wedding was an addition to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So during the wedding time, I was pregnant.
Ah.
Yeah. But it's a blessing, and I was actually happy about it because a lot of times, you know, you get married, and then the anxiousness of you wanting a baby, you know, so it becomes very difficult. Who to say? So I just thank God that, you know, we were blessed.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, was that a decision you know, agreed upon or you came up with that, Pastor, you know what, I know this is going to be difficult for me, so...
Well, the thing is, when she moved from Buffalo to Philly, she had her own place and I had my own place, and we both being believers, we didn't buy into the whole idea of shacking before we get married, so she had her own spot, I had my own spot. So we're like, look, let's do the home part, you know, the traditional part, get it out of the way. Let's do a blessing because we're trying to save money here. Right. And being that the wedding was at the later part of the year, was like, look, let's do it, get it out of the way. So when we leave together, we can save money. And you know how people talk, you know, oh, you're not married, you know, why are you both living together? So after we did all of that, we were able to shop anyone that had a second thought about, hey, why are you guys living together? Gotcha. So once that part was done, we kind of pretty much kept the ball going, you know, forward ever, backwards never. And to tell you the truth, when she said that she was pregnant, I didn't believe it.
It's true.
Of course, she plays a lot of games. And I remember I was like, nah, you can't be. And even the day that we found out we're having a boy, she pulled a fast one on me. I was like, nah, I don't believe you. You gotta be lying. Like, I know you play games. And I think she took the test, what, a couple of times?
Yeah. So, you know, one thing about y'all is, like, whenever I say something, he likes to second guess me. So, when I told him
well,
it was
is
a
it because
boy,
you give him reason to?
I don't know. He would ask, are you sure? Are you sure? So I'm like, okay, let's do this. So I took the test, and then, of course, we were pregnant. And then when I went and then found out that it was a boy, you know, I came home and I told him, hey, we're having a boy. And then he said, are you sure? And I said, oh, no, we're not having a boy. We're having a girl. You know, and he's like, are you sure? And I said, yeah. And then...
No, actually, I was at work when you called.
Yeah?
Because I was kind of dying to find out, okay, what is it that we having? And, of course, once again, she pulled it fast. I was like, wait, what did she was like, oh, we're having a girl. So I'm like, okay, that's no biggie. I called my mom and everything, and I'm like, okay, we're having a girl. Put it at the back of my head. It's over and done with. Then later on, I think, as we were getting ready to go to bed, she was like, oh, I have a surprise to tell you. I'm like, well, this day can't get any better than, you know, I already know we're having a girl. What's next? She was like, oh, by the way. But a part of me kind of knew we're going to have, because I know how she acts sometimes. And
really?
I kept saying, it has to be a boy. It has to be a boy. And lo and behold, right before we went to bed, she was like, yeah, you're right. We're having a boy. I was like, why did you didn't tell me we're having a girl?
But you said something interesting earlier about the reason why you felt it was necessary that you guys, go through this and live together.
Right.
When you guys were dating or courting, what were some of the boundaries you guys put in place, for your own good? Like, there are, the do's and don'ts that you guys realize that it is necessary for you guys to put in place so that you guys will have a very healthy relationship leading into marriage.
Well, I would say communication is very important. It's got to be a two-way street.
Right.
I've always said it takes two to tango, and the communication line has to be open. And it didn't matter what kind of conversation that had to be had, be it good or bad. But the main thing is we definitely knew that we could not be, shacking, and that was a no-go. And there were times, of course, temptation came, but we knew that's not the route that we wanted to take, because we have the rest of our life to spend together. Why mess up a good thing, know? And so there were times that when we find ourselves in that situation, I'm like, look, I think it's time for you to go home. Or likewise, vice versa, if I were to find myself in her part, I'm like, okay, it's time for me to go. Because I know if we push this any further, we might find ourselves in a situation that we might not want ourselves. But the main thing is being very prayerful,
Okay.
I think prayer changes everything.
True.
And that was probably what kept us going. Well, we dated for 2 years before we actually got married.
I see.
So that kind of played a really important part in our courtship.
Did you guys pray together or pray separately?
In the beginning we did a little bit. Because we had a list. We had a list of, prayer points.
Okay.
I think on our list was marriage, on our list was kids, strong relationship. What else? Finances, and then I think work. By then I was also looking for work.
Okay.
Yeah, so whilst you will call me after work. Yeah, you will call me after work, and then we will pray a little bit, and after that we will spend probably like 30 minutes or probably even 20 minutes, and then the rest of it was just a whole lot of blah 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 here and there.
Praying for 20 minutes, and then you guys will
Yeah.
I see.
And then after that, we would just go about talking about different things.
Well, now on to my most favorite question. How did you guys meet? And who made the first move? Actually, let me add that one.
No. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
How we met, I don't know if it was meant to be, because it was through my brother-in-law that I met her.
Okay.
And I was like a couple of months removed from a relationship that I thought was going to end up being a marriage, it didn't pan out. So I was brokenhearted, I was bitter, and I met her brother. I went over to go visit my cousin, and he just so happened to be hanging out with my cousin, and we kept talking, and I guess we became friends afterwards. So I think for a couple of months, him and I, we would just be chopping it up every now and then, like on weekends when I have time. And I don't know what he saw in me, but I'm guessing the whole time that we were getting to know ourselves, he was watching me. And then just one day out of the blue, he was like, "Oh, I have a sister I want you to meet." I'm like, "Fee, you've never told me you got a sister." He's like, "No, I do have a sister in Buffalo." I'm like, "Nah, you pulling my legs, man." And then I was like, "Look, I don't think I'm ready for it. You a good friend and all, and I will hit for our relationship to go down the drain because I mess up your sister, and I don't want." And he was like, "Just talk to her, just think about it." So it took me a couple of weeks to kind of pray over it. I'm like, "Look, God, you know fully well that my heart was in the right place. I had put everything in my last relationship, and then in the end, it all went down the drain." So I kept thinking to myself, "God, if this is meant to be, let your will be done." And then just out of the blue one day, just like today, I came out of church, out of the blue, he called me. He's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm coming over to pick you up." I'm like, "Okay, for." He was like, "Oh, I made some carrot soup." And I'm like, "Carrot soup? Never had of that." He's like, "Okay." So he actually came over.
My brother can really cook here.
So he actually came over, picked me up. I'm like, "Wait, where is this going?" Because normally I would just drive over to his apartment, but this time around, he chauffeured me, came over at the house, picked me up. So I'm like, okay, if this is some kind of prank that's going to be pulled on me, please. Well, I don't like surprises. My wife will tell you, like, I will go up and down to find her. If you're trying to pull a fast one on me, like, I don't like surprise. But anyway, we went over his house. He made fufu and the carrot soup was really good. Like, I was like, wow. I didn't know you could throw down with me soup.
He's good.
And then afterwards, he's like, oh, let me call my sister. And I think right after we had finished eating, he called Patience. And they were chatting, and I don't know if she was in the car with a bunch of her friends or whatever, and I think I overheard him, right? He was like, oh, he's here, you know, I'll give you his number or whatever. And I don't know what was said on the other line. Maybe she'll fill you in. But afterwards, he gave me her number. He was like, oh, this is my sister's number. You know, just give her a call later on. She'll be expecting you to call. I'm like, whoa. What's going on here? So, needless to say, I spent my time with him. I went home, and then later on, when I got home, I was like, you know, it's Sunday. Let me call her, you know, check and see how her day was, you know. Right. And it was supposed to be a quick hello, how you doing, you know. Yeah, this is me. Let's find time and chat later. And it ended up being like a 2-hour conversation, and all started with me, you know, asking how was church, and then she got in the word, and before, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. And that was pretty much how it started on mine.
You got the story right.
Oh, awesome.
Patient. Everything is on point?
Check.
Okay.
Check.
Now, Patience, what actually made you want to go out with Yaw?
Okay, so he has, cause there's this thing where when you meet somebody for the first time, right away you say to yourself, okay, I want to get to know more about this person and this person's likes and dislikes and how the character, you know. So when my brother actually sent me the picture of him, I was like, oh, this is it. You know what? Tell him to call me.
Why? Just from the picture?
Yeah, just from the picture. I don't know.
He was looking that good?
Oh, yeah. I said, oh, I was actually driving too. And I said, yeah, you know what? Tell him to call me. So as soon as I got home, I remember the time too. It was around 5 something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You time stamped it.
Oh, yeah, I remember. And then he calls and he say, hey, you know, I'm Yaw. And he was speaking. And he started off English and all that. And I'm like, wait, I hope so to cheat. And he said, what? What do you mean by that? And I'm like, you know, because the way you're talking sounds like... So we started talking and all that. But as we talked, the things that he was saying, you know, was very interesting. It's what he's been through, you know, and his upbringing, you know, kind of drew me a little bit closer to him. And I wanted to know more about him, you know, because he started telling me about his past, you know, relationship, you know.
On the first day?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You went all in.
Oh, I'm telling you, this man was not playing. He, you know, he told me what he'd been through. So if I'm looking for somebody who's just gonna be like, you know, playing around and playing games, that's not him. And I'm like, oh wait, what do you mean by that? Like, I'm not here to also play games. So, you know, as time goes on, I found out that his yes is his yes, and his no is his no. And the same thing that I realized I like about him, the same thing that later on I'm like, okay, this needs to cool down a little bit, you know. But overall, I think Yaw, he's a nice person. He's a good man, you know. I just give him a thumbs up because I found myself always saying that I thank God that he brought him into my life, you know. And he actually even got me from Buffalo, get me out of Buffalo, because I ended up using his address. I ended up using his address to apply for jobs in Philadelphia. And thank God.
I see. Yeah, I mean, you had gotten out of a relationship, and obviously, you know, going through some emotional, you know, unrest or whatever you want to call it. Right. What was it about Patience that, you know, told you that I'm going to marry this girl? I mean, was there a point in the whole relationship or getting to know her that you realized that, no, this is her for me, this is the girl for me? Was there any point in that course of time?
Like, after going through everything that I went through with my previous relationship, I had prayed a prayer to God that God, I know there was a reason for my going through what happened in my previous relationship. And I want you to make me a better person so when Mrs. Right comes around, I would know right off the back.
Okay.
And the first day I spoke with her, I remember after I hung up the phone, I was like, I think I have found my wife. I did not say it to her, but after I hung up, I just said that.
Thanks for doing
The funny thing is, I've always been very private. I don't really, trust me, you will have to be very close for me to share something really personal with me. And I think after we had been chatting for a couple of months, I finally kind of told my mom that I'm talking to someone. Right away, my mom was like, I don't know about this person, but something tells me that she might be the right person for you. And lo and behold, the first time my mom spoke with her, she was like, yeah.
She didn't tell you why?
No, but she did confirm that, God forbid if I were to die today, you have my blessing to marry her.
That was deep.
And so for me, it kind of validated, it made sense.
When she hadn't met her?
No. All she kept saying was, the first time I told her about Patience, she was like, I'm going to keep praying now. But she didn't even ask for her name. She was like, I'm going to just keep praying. And I'm going to ask for God's will to be done. And so when she finally spoke to her, it validated everything that had been revealed to her. My mom is very spiritual when it comes to these things that are very spiritual and whatnot. And she knew what I had went through.
Right.
And she prayed, and this woman, and it pays to have a mom that prays, you know. And that was the one thing that I kind of like about Patience, you know, a woman that's grounded in God. That was what I was looking for, someone to grow old in Christ with.
Okay.
Not necessarily, you know, that whole outlook and everything, because I always think that's always going to be a bonus. If she has all of that, you know, be it looks, being outspoken and all of that stuff, that's fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, I need someone that could uplift me when I'm weak in the knee, someone that could, you know, get into the word with me and make me strong when I'm weak, or someone that could really sharpen. You know, the Bible says an iron sharpens an iron.
Correct.
So I can't have someone that's going to bring me down when I'm having a bummy day. Then we might as well both, you know, not be together.
Right.
So that was the one thing that I really, really love about her right from the word go. That the fact that she was really rooted in the Lord.
I see. Patience, I mean, when you were single, right?
Yeah.
How did you manage your single life? As a young woman, obviously, you said, you know, a lot of guys were thrown your way, and so you found the need to, you know, let them go. How do you manage your relationships and your whole single life?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I kind of kept myself a little busy. You know, I kept myself busy with work. I kind of kept myself busy with my nonprofit and the things of God, you know, because I kind of felt like if I don't keep myself busy, I'm going to entertain, you know, a lot of guys that will come my way. I say guys because these people are not, some of them are not matured. You know, you can tell somebody who's mature from the word go and somebody who just want to play with you, you know. So by me saying I kept myself busy, I would look for little things to do. You know, sometimes I'll be at home and then I would, you know, bring a couple of my friends over and then we would discuss about certain things, you know. And then also in my single life, I just make sure that whoever I'm talking to, I'm just picking up from their brain and see who's who. You know, because there's a lot of people out there that will say that they want to date you or they want to talk to you or they want to, you know, they'll see themselves with you at the long haul, but they're not the right person, you know. So for the most part, I was just talking to other people, but at the same time, just trying to make sure that I'm not, you know, being so out there that people will say that, oh, wait a minute, I know this how this girl is, or if anything, what you hear from other people, it's a good thing, you know. So
but were you pressured, like, when you look around, all your friends are getting married, and I don't know if you had the kind of parents who kept asking you when are you going to get married, or family, you know, relatives asking you when are you going to get married, and all your friends are getting married. Was that thought ever in your mind?
Oh yeah, it kind of ran through my mind a couple of times, but I always said to myself that I don't want to be rushed. I don't want to rush myself into marriage that I know that along the way it was not mine. You know, so as much as my mom will call me, oh, you know, have you found somebody yet? Have you found somebody yet? I still, you know, will tell her that, you know what, God's time is the best. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to date anybody and everybody, you know. So the people that come my way, if you're the right person, I mean, I'll talk to you unless I realize that, okay, no, I don't think this is going to go anywhere. You know, the pressure was there, you know, being that my younger sister was already married, had 2 kids already, you know, so my mom would call me and say, you know, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you, you know, and I used to tell her, you know what, yeah, let's keep praying, but let's leave it in God's hands. If the right person comes, the right person comes.
All right, yeah. At what point in your life did you realize that it's time for me to get married? Or what are the factors that you had to make sure that they are in place before you tell yourself that I'm ready to get married, or now is the time?
I don't know. For me, timing had to do with anything. It was about being okay with myself and knowing that nobody's going to second guess you, being, i.e. my parents. You know, if I were to tell them, hey, I think I'm ready to settle down, which, funny that you asked, because when I was 27, I almost got married, but once again, thank God for my mom. You know, the person that I was going to get married to turned out to be a mess, and my mom was the last person who had to put her foot down. It was like a week before we were to go do the whole traditional and everything, you know. My mom was like, yeah, I've been praying about something, and the visions that I'm seeing are not good. I have a feeling when you go into this family, that will be the end of you. Of course, I was really, 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 really pissed off. For like, I think a good 6 months, I would not talk to my parents because I was so bitter. I was like...
And that wasn't the same one you left?
No.
Okay.
This was like a while ago. This is when I was in my 20s, late 20s. I was 27 back then when it happened. Okay. So, I was a bit kind of broken-hearted, you know. Of course, bitten once, you don't want to get it again. But in my case, I was like, you know what? The fact that I have the mom that put her foot down tells me that the right person is going to come along. It was only going to be at the right time. Right. And so when she came in spite of everything that I had been through, once it was validated, you know, once I prayed and my mom was praying, I had other people in my corners, you know, I've got prayer warriors that pray in my corner, people that really want the best for me. Once we all prayed and it was confirmed that yes, indeed, she was the one. There was absolutely no second guess. No, like, either one of my parents did not ask me, yeah, were you sure? Because they knew fully well what I had been through. And so when I said that I was ready, they're like, well, you know what? We think this is the right fit, and God is really going to bless you through this process for everything that you had to get through just to get to where I was when we got married. So for me, it was more or less like me taking the time for God to work with me, because that had always been my main thing, like being impatient. I was like, everything had to be done on my time, you know. So I was like, no. I did it my way when I was 27, and it was not meant to be. So I was like, God, let your will be done. And so this time around, I was like, no, I cannot do it my way. It has to be your way, or I'm just going to be okay being single. Of course, my dad used to tell me, you are the hottest commodity. I was like, I don't care what people... He will call me, you know, out of the blue. He lives in Vegas, and, like, random people will call him. Hey, Kofi, what's going on with your son? You know, we know someone. I'm like, Dad, I don't do that kind of stuff. Like, that recommendation, no, it doesn't work for me. So, when it all said and done, you know, I kind of knew right away that this was meant to be, and I did not need to second guess God, because God knew what I have been through.
I see. That's interesting. Patience. Back to you. What were you looking for in a man?
Well, you know how they say that girls have a long list?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you? How long was yours?
Oh, as time goes on, I can't go there.
It kept shrinking.
It kept shrinking.
Yeah, but
the
what
one thing
were
I
the
know
vital stuff that you kept on it?
The one that I know is somebody that who's God fearing. That's number one key. But at the end of the day, somebody who's well educated.
Okay.
You know, somebody who will, you know, uplift me.
Okay.
Somebody who will be there for me when I say, okay, I'm at my lowest point. Okay. You know, that was something that it was my 3 things that in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what, this is what I'm looking for, you know. But I wouldn't mind somebody else who had a nice body with nice physique. Obviously, Mr. Bonsi here.
I'm far from all.
You know, there was the 3 things that, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what, that, if I get that, I thank God for.
Did he meet all those checkpoints, or was there anything that needed a little bit of work, but you know what, you was like, I don't mind working with him on this one?
Of course, nobody's perfect.
Okay.
You know, nobody's perfect, but for the most part, he did meet some of it. Okay. You know, but I'm sure I'm not perfect too. He would say something that, like, Patience, you know, would do that I don't like, or you know, I'm working with her on that. Right. So
yeah, what would that be?
I think she probably hit it off right from the back. Like, I've always been the type where my yes is my yes and my no is my no. So if I were to tell you I'm going to go right, don't second guess me, because I know exactly why I'm doing it. But in her case, sometimes, and I think maybe I might be the reason why she second guessed herself, because every time she says something, I'm like, are you sure about it? Oh, yeah. And that kind of throws her a curveball. She like, wait, why do you? I'm like, I'm not doing it just to be anal, but I just want to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. Right. And that has always been me. And she will tell you, my yes is my yes and my no is my no. So I don't know if that's probably something that she could work on, but like you said, you know, I'm not perfect, neither is she, and we're never gonna be. That's why we're in this married together. You know, I've seen people that are married for like 30 years, and there's still some nitty-gritty things that the wife doesn't know about the husband, likewise, vice versa. But for the most part, she checks off on the main thing, which is being a woman of God.
I see.
You know, and I don't think anyone's gonna ever say that, oh, I met my wife and she was perfect.
I see. What are some of the things that you've learned about him that you didn't know before when you guys were dating?
Well, I laughed because some girls, so you get to know this individual.
Hey, welcome back. That was part 1 of my ride with Yaw and Patience, and I hope you learned something from part 1 of their journey. I will see you next time with part 2, and please make sure you subscribe on YouTube and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram so that you'll be notified once new videos are posted. I'll see you next time with part 2. Until then, let's keep love alive. Bye.